What is up, Pro Coverage? I'm your host, Nick. We're jumping into this press conference today. We're breaking down Panthers DC Evero, E- Ejiro Evero. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. He is expected to most likely usurp Frank Reich when he is fired after the Cowboys game, which is my prediction. Regardless of what I thought he could become, it hasn't translated onto the field. I actually heard a little bit of a thing about they might be silencing play calling. Hopefully that's in here. If it's not in here, I'll make sure to address it in a different one. But Mr. Evero, I'm super excited to see what you have. Defense has had its struggles, but obviously you've been on the field quite a bit. There's a lot going on. I'm excited. But yeah, let's just jump into this. I want to see exactly what's going on, how the Panthers are moving into this game with the Cowboys, and just what the plan is. I am actually recording this, on the 17th of November. This came out last night. Didn't want to watch it. Was dealing with some other stuff. Just in case you guys don't know, I am finishing my master's and my doctorate. So with all of that, I also deal with a few other personal things like my wife's health and a few other things. So I just want to say I appreciate everybody that watches, especially if you make it to the end. But yeah, let's just jump right into this.
Hey, I thought it was all over.
Mr. Evero, I'm super excited. Please, please, please let this be the press conference where everyone just moves in your direction. We could put Frank in the back burner.
Week, we had. All right, so we're excited to get back to work this week. We had the Thursday night game, obviously, and
It was a tough one, but it is what it is. But yeah, good luck, man. I'm really. This is going to be the one where I hope that I come out of this very excited for him to be the interim, because it's either going to be him or Thomas Brown. Either way, I'm super excited for our fan base. I'm super excited to see the changes, to get the stink of Frank out. Yes, I've been a supporter, but I haven't been a supporter of Frank. I've just been a supporter of not keeping a narrative for one person but different for somebody else. I do feel like Frank was getting the shit into the stick, but I don't care if it was Eric Bieniemy, Evero, Thomas Brown, Sean McVay. It doesn't matter. The head coach was taking too much of the flack, but obviously if we can turn it around, I will resign myself to that Frank was the worst coach that we've had. But we need to see what it looks like this week. We need to see what it looks like in the future with the interim, with Thomas Brown, calling the offensive plays, his playbook, his scheme, the whole nine. So again, Mr. Evero, I want to give you your chance, your flowers, and everything. So
a little time off of the weekend and got refreshed, rejuvenated mentally, physically, and I know the guys are excited and the staff's excited, and can't wait to get on with this challenge. And the Cowboys, very good team, very good offense. They're explosive. They got good playmakers all over the place, and we know it's going to be a great challenge. But we're also excited and looking forward to it. So,
since the bye week, we've seen Dante Jackson kind of play a little bit more with an edge, especially in the run game.
One thing I do believe was confirmed today, and I'll make sure to put it up right here just in case. I do believe that J.C. Horn is not playing in this game. I think there's a few others. I'm not sure about Jackson, but hopefully.
What have you noticed about his development kind of throughout the year and why he's playing so well right now?
Yeah, the one thing I'll say about Dante is that since day one, he's been very bought into what we're doing. He's worked extremely hard. What we've been asking him to do and the secondary to do is a lot different than what they did last year. And I think there was some time.
I agree with that. I do believe the defense has gotten a little bit better. We still don't have an offensive identity, but I can't blame them for that. So,
taken to get acclimated to that. Missing time in the spring and in training camp, not being able to practice consistently, I probably attributed it to that. But what you've seen, like a lot of our players, is he continues to grow and get better and better. And I think now that he's comfortable, he's healthy, you can see that he's playing up to his capability. And so it's been really good.
What's your expectation?
I'm not going to lie. The one thing that I criticized a lot of people for was not reading Frank's body language. He was very absorbing of everything and then kind of slow walked into an answer. Evero knows what he's going to say, how he's going to attack it, and everything. So I do like that. He does seem considerably more poised up there. I'm very excited. Especially if this is going to be press conferences moving forward. He looks like he's like up there. He's got his hands on his sides kind of thing. Obviously, I can't see any farther below that, but I mean, this looks like a head coach, no offense. He's poised. He's saying the right things so far. Obviously, we're only a minute in, and it's only a 10-minute video, but let's just give him his chance.
On Brian and JC's availability this week?
I am not sure. Coach will address the injuries, but we're hopeful. I think Brian is actually going to play. Brian will play. JC, Coach will address that. We'll see where that goes.
We saw DiCaprio have a pretty good outing too against Chicago.
What a name. DiCaprio Boodle, by the way. Love it. It's just like the dude at Oklahoma. I'm not sure if anybody has seen him. His literal name is General Booty. I think it's the greatest thing ever. Boodle, it's just so funny. I mean, if we end up going to draft a quarterback in the next few years and we end up with General Booty, I'm gonna die laughing. So
Chicago, what did you like that you saw, and do you really like him on the outside as opposed to maybe inside?
Yeah, we have a lot of like from inside and outside. DiCaprio has done a great job since day one. Hard worker, really smart. The first day he got signed here, he was upstairs with the coaches trying to learn the playbook, offense, defense, or excuse me, special teams and defense. And he's a professional. He's a professional. That's the best thing I could say about him. He works at it. He's prepared. And there's nothing like having a player when you know he's going to go into the game that he's going to know what to do, and you can know exactly what to expect out of him. And so he's done a great job, and he made some plays not only last week but the week before against the Colts, and he's really done a great job.
I know that there's been a little bit of shakeup of responsibility this week, obviously on offense with Thomas. You went through a lot of transition last year with Nate and everything. Mm-hmm. From a defensive perspective and a coaching staff perspective, when you have a colleague who is dealing with that sort of situation, how do you either get involved or separate yourself to let that person know that you're there for them, and you guys maybe have a symbiotic relationship, I guess, on the staff?
Yeah.
Okay, so right there, Frank. Go back and watch the pressers. Again, I even did two of his press conferences, and any ones that he'll do in the future, including his last one with the Panthers, I will do as well. But this right here, see how he took it? He was processing it while it was happening. He's like, oh, he's about to jump into it, and he's about to give an answer. I like that. He's thinking ahead. He's doing everything like that. This is head coach material. Now, obviously, I need to do the Thomas Brown one as well, so that's totally fair. Thomas Brown's will be out as well, too, most likely today. I'm going to try and get this one out by 2 p.m. my time, which would be 4 p.m. EST, as I'm out here in Colorado this week, just finishing up some school. But yeah, this man needs to get his chance. It might be now, it might be later, but one of him or Thomas Brown are going to get interim. I don't think letting Thomas Brown go for Frank's failures is the right option. I just don't know. Do you promote the DC to interim, or do you promote the OC to interim? If anybody has any ideas, please drop them in the comments below. I'd love to know your opinions. Yeah, this is poised so far. This is what I was looking for. This is what I get from Eric Bieniemy, and why I really, really, really pounded the table for him to get a head coaching job this year, especially with our Carolina Panthers. Just don't think our owner is on the side of that. People have thrown around a bunch of different things. I've gotten into a few arguments with people regarding race and a few other things. I can't equate anything to race. I don't know any instances where David Tepper, or at least I personally don't know of any instances where David Tepper has made it apparent that he wouldn't hire a black coach. If that's the case, then obviously owner needs to go. It would remind me of like a David Sterling kind of thing from the Clippers years ago. But one of these dudes need to get promoted and remain head coach if we go to them. Our next interim needs to just stay our head coach until we can get a measurably better person. The only one I could really think of would be Eric Bieniemy right now, but I don't think he's leaving Washington. I think Rivera's out of there in Washington. So
I think the most important thing is that everybody just does their job, and I can only worry about the defense. That's my area of responsibility. Trust that the decisions being made are in the best interest of the team, and I got to focus on the defense, and that's all I'm focusing on. And we got a lot of work to do, especially this week.
Is this the most explosive offense you guys have seen this year?
Yeah, I would say them and Miami.
I agree. Them and Miami. Miami game was obviously tough. Lions game was tough. This one, it could turn into another one of those, but that's where I really need to see the offense take the step forwards. If the Horn doesn't play, I'm obviously concerned about the deep ball. CeeDee Lamb has been crazy. I think I saw somebody say take the over with him. So yeah, I'd probably do the same. He'll probably end up with 100+ yards that game and a touchdown or two. If we don't get pressure to Dak is a very poised quarterback, can sit back there, deliver the ball, win, and where he needs to. So it's going to be kind of a multi-pronged effort, and it's going to be from this man. So if he's able to out there and affect change, he's able to go out there and really, punch the offensive line in the teeth of the Cowboys, then that'd be great. I could also see it going the other way, just because our personnel isn't at the same level as the Cowboys, but scheme, and he's been doing pretty decent with that. Scheme has gotten better, especially these last 3 weeks post-bye. So I'm very excited to see this. If we can hold them like 20, I think it's a winnable game. 21, 23, even 24. If they crack 30, I don't think our offense can hit 30. I just don't, unless, some miracle happens. But this man is going to be the one that keeps it close for us.
Detroit's really good too, but just especially the ability to make plays on the outside with their receivers. Miami is probably comparable, but this is as good offense as there is in the league.
CD is particularly good at catches at 20 or more, or 20 yards or more. From a coverage standpoint, how much does that dictate coverage, or at least the way you guys maybe handle double teams or your zone?
Yeah, it's he's a heck of a player, and you can make the argument there's no receiver in the league playing as well as he is.
I like this. Again, takes the information as it's coming in, is able to immediately give a coherent, smart head coach answer. He's still giving a little bit, but he's not giving he's not giving the whole bag away. So I like this so far. Again, poised head coach material. This man is embodying it. I'm doing this one first instead of Thomas Brown because I really think our defense is the key to this game. Some people have said that we're going to win this game. It's going to be tough. If we do, this man right here deserves the credit.
The issue is when you play a team like Dallas, is like, okay, we can roll the coverage over there, but then they got Brandon Cook.
Oh, they can roll the coverage. Shout out us.
And they got Gallup, and they got a run game, and they got all these different things going on. They got a quarterback that can beat you with his legs. And so, that's, it's a credit to them, what they've done, what they put together. They've got a lot of good players, and that's what makes them such a good offense. There's nobody you could zero in on.
You were talking a little bit ago about Boodle. He's one of the many guys who've had to kind of fill in because of injuries. In general, how do you teach guys from a practical standpoint for everybody to be ready as opposed to zooming in on your starters, that kind of thing?
Yeah, like we talked about in previous weeks, it's so much about the nature of the NFL is people are going to get hurt, and everybody needs to understand that, players and coaches. And if you're not coaching the bottom part of your roster as much as the top part of it, you're going to get burned. And
I like that answer. I like it a lot. Let him continue, though.
And so, again, a credit to him. He not only did, because we preach the message, we try to preach that message, and we try to get guys to buy into it that, hey, even if you're not playing a lot and the playing time is not meeting your expectations, you got to stay ready, because the last thing you want to do is you get your opportunity and you're not ready. And it's really a credit to him, like staying locked in, staying focused, and really, like, since he's been here, he's prepared like he's the number one guy.
Not just him, but in general with backups, do you look for different qualities in them, kind of anticipating a little bit of that?
Well, you're looking for the same.
And the one thing I've noticed is that right eyebrow staying like furrowed. That's interesting because it seems like he's like, man, what the hell are you saying this for? But I mean, I think he's coached the bottom of the roster well. I thought that he's, kind of gotten it all. Sorry, I'm looking where the camera is. I'm literally looking at his face right there. So if I ever look off to the side, it's just because I'm looking at my recording software and all that. But yeah, like, again, body language, stand there poised kind of like this, opening himself, as opposed to Frank, where you've seen him like grip thing, and it seems like he's literally trying to hold on to the wheel. So I think just overall this body language is a little bit more fluid, but I also think it's because behind the scenes they've already had the discussion of, Frank, if we get blown out by 25, who you're calling. So I think that there's a lot on this. Evero just needs to kind of keep it close, and he'll continue to get a lot of vocal people throwing their vote towards him to be the interim.
Same qualities you have in starters. You're always looking for starters. I don't think anybody really goes out there looking for backups, right? And so you're looking for players that are starting quality, and even if they're your number twos, and you want guys on the bottom part of your roster, if they have to go in the game, that they can perform at a high level.
One of your players was saying one of the reasons with all the injuries you guys have been able to play so well is what you teach them in practice that allows them to play fast. How big is that, and what you teach that's carrying over to the games to the success you guys, at least the last 3 weeks in particular, have had?
Yeah, I just think our assistant coaches do such a great job in the classroom. Todd Watt.
And that's where a lot of this is going to continue to show dividends, is they're very, very focused on that from what it seems. A lot of the reports is that there is a lot going on behind the scenes with studying these film sessions and everything like that. I'm very, very excited about that. I've been looking just to try and find any supporting argument, and I haven't seen anything to say that Frank's involved with that at all. It seems it's a lot like TB and Evero. Obviously, head coach has to be involved at some level. He's really in there doing this, then again, another huge kudo point for him to be interim.
Tem Lekabu, Peter Hansen, Jonathan Cooley, Burt Watts, Bobby Maffei, D. Hall, Mayor Chahuri, all of them. They all do a great job. They're great teachers, and what ends up happening a lot is, like, obviously our position coaches are really dealing with the ones and the backups. But when we bring you guys in, it's it's our quality control coaches, it's our assistant coaches that are really spending that extra time with them on the background to get them caught up. And so I just think it's just been an unbelievable teaching job by our coaches, and they're way more important and involved in that than I am, to be honest with you. And so it's a credit to the coaches.
Zero, Dak Prescott's having a really great year. He's third in QBR. What in the league? How do you slow him down?
Yeah.
First answer is pressure, pressure, pressure. If we had J.C. Horn playing, which again don't think we are, we need defensive plays, big plays. A pick six or two would be great. The opposite of the Colts game. But let's see what his response is. It's going to be a good one.
Tough. It's going to be tough. Because the stats tell you that maybe they're not the best run team, but this team can run the ball. They can throw the ball, and they got so many weapons. And so we just got to do a great job trying to keep him in the pocket. We got to be good on our coverage, and we got to make a play or two.
They've got a field goal kicker who hasn't missed a field goal this year. Does that put added pressure on keeping them obviously out of the red zone? Obviously, you want to keep points off the board, but in a close game.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, we know that once the field shrinks for him realistically with his leg, and so we know that's a big part of it.
Are you almost, I don't want to say willing to concede a field goal, but with an offense like this, are there certain situations you'll live with three?
Yeah, if we're up.
Yeah, I don't think that there's an option. I think it's just the Cowboys are going to either win this game or we're going to help them or assist them in losing this game. Of course, 3 points is better than 6 when you're the defensive coordinator.
By a lot. It's hard for me to concede anything.
Great answer, by the way. Not this personality. This thing has not been a staple of Frank's tenure. This happiness, this being jovial and excited and answering pointed questions. I think, again, this is mad points to him. My whole reservation, and I'm going to get this out now, my whole reservation for Evero and Thomas Brown is that we're going to elevate them to this situation. We're going to put them into our mind that they're like Steve Wilkes. And then they're still not going to get the option next year. They're going to bring in another head coach, and we're going to be back to square one. Now, obviously, if we can rattle off, say, 3-4 more wins under Thomas Brown or Evero as interim, I think that would be great for their tenure moving forwards. I'm just worried that it's going to hurt them because, again, my personal view has been this whole time is that we don't have the personnel. We don't have the guys. I keep making the Middle Tennessee reference. We could put Nick Saban with Middle Tennessee in. They still couldn't win 10 games regardless of the coaching. So that's just my opinion. Regardless of scheme, regardless of anything, you just don't have the guys on the field. You don't have the players. I'm sorry. That's where I feel like now. That's why I feel like the offseason, really, I think that they go interim. If we can win 3 or 4 more games, they immediately promote whoever the interim is, whether it's Evero or TB, to head coach. So we can just get that out of the way, give them a full offseason, hopefully with a new GM as well, and go from there. But obviously, that's still a collaborative effort. It's supposed to be GM picks the coach. And if you're promoting the coach, then the GM can't pick the coach, and then the GM might not want to go there, and it's just a whole spiel. So that's where I'm worried about it. I'm worried that a new GM is going to come in and be like, well, I don't really want him. I want somebody else. And then they bring in somebody else, and we're back in this situation. So it's just me. I also have my fear that we're not going to let Frank or Scott Fitterer go. And again, I'm a diehard Scott Fitterer hater. He's trash. So yeah, I just want these guys to get a fair end of the fair shake of it, whatever. Obviously, Thomas Brown having his play calling removed doesn't seem like a fair shake. But again, I agree with 99% of people in that it's just Frank trying to hold on to the wheel as the car goes underwater kind of thing. So
Tim and Todd, and I'm just wondering, you've got so many rotating pass rushers right now. Can you talk about the work that they've done as a duo in getting those guys prepared?
Yeah, they've done a great job. Both of those guys, Tim was a coordinator last year. Todd has been a coordinator, D-line coach in the league for a long time. And so it's always interesting when you talk about the rush plan because it's 2 position coaches that have to collaborate and create one. And they've done such a great job of, one, they both bring so much knowledge and expertise to the position into our rush plan. And then, both of them are just such egoless people, that they go into it with a true mind of like, we're not worried about whose idea is the best. It's about what's the best idea, what's the best plan for our players. And they've done a great job of working together. And, you can tell, like, we wish we just had more rush opportunities to really show the type of rush that we have. But we're hopeful those are coming. But those guys have done a really, really good job.
What's Dak doing so much better now, the last month especially, than he was doing even early in the season, and especially last year when he had all the interceptions?
Yeah, Dak has played at such a high level for so many years, and I think all players probably go through spells where they're a little bit off, and for whatever reason, I'm not quite sure about that, but one thing I do know is that this is a elite quarterback, and he's been an elite quarterback for a long time. And hey, he might have an off game, but like, there's no doubt in his ability. This guy is special.
You guys had the mini bye, so to speak. Did you watch the Cowboys game live? And do you ever pick up anything on like TV copy that you might, I don't know, that's different than the all 22?
Yeah. Well, we actually always watch the TV copy, even if it's not live. We get a copy of that, and we go through it. So, but I did sit down and watch it on Saturday. So it was hard to have a relaxing Sunday when I'm like trying to figure these guys out on the spot. But it was good to be on the couch, though.
What do y'all pick up, from that TV copy? What are you looking for in that versus the all 22?
Real quick, again, the happiness, jovial, stoic, answering the questions. Doesn't seem reserved, like he's processing and giving a head coach answer. He's giving the answer that he feels is the right answer, not the head coach answer. And this is what I hope continues. I haven't seen all of his press conferences. I'm not going to go back. I'm only going to continue to cover them moving forwards. And I'm not going to break down players' press conferences because I don't believe that the players really need that broken down. There's already so much scrutiny on them, especially Bryce right now, where people are calling him a bust, which I do not agree with. Again, I just don't think he has the personnel. People are talking about bringing in Bill O'Brien and all this other stuff, and that still doesn't change the personnel. So I don't think that bringing in a friend of Bryce Young is something that's going to benefit this team.
Just communication. If there's any code words or anything like that we could pick up.
Chris Wormley's coming off that ACL injury. You guys got to see him a little bit more in practice. Yeah. What did he show you?
He's got to get in a little bit of better shape, but he is the football shape part of it. But he's been working so hard, and it's been a lot he's gone through to get to this spot. And he's 2 practices in, and he's going to continue to get better and get in better shape. But he's such a pro, and it's been great to get to know the guy. He's a smart guy. He's great in the meeting rooms. He's great with the younger players, and we have a lot of belief that he's going to help us later this year.
Bring this over here again. Shout out to Panthers YouTube for always putting these up. That's where I go get them. Overall, I give this an A- press conference. Better than any grade I've given Frank to this point. I think that this press conference again showed his stoicism, his adult ability. It's not a word, but his ability to be an adult in the room, to give proper responses to pointed questions and continue to move forwards. This gives me a lot of hope moving forwards. I hadn't done a whole deep dive into him this year. Obviously, we've had some issues on defense, but as I've slowly come around, I do agree that Evero does not deserve the bulk of that blame. The offense has been subpar and has put the ball back in the opponent's hands a lot more, requiring our defense to be out there. So, of course, dropping 42 tough. But regardless, A- in this press conference. Good job, Evero. I'm super excited for you to possibly be interim. It's either going to be you or TB after Sunday, so be prepared for that. And again, that's why I think he was super happy, super smiley, and everything like that. But regardless, my name is Nick. This is Roll Coverage. I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you had any questions, comments, concerns, drop them below. If you want to come follow me, I'm obviously here on YouTube, and Roll Coverage Pod on Twitter/X. Have a great day.